Welcome back to my channel. Today we're tackling a big question that every football fan is asking: who will be the next Erling Haaland? By the age of just 24, Haaland has already scored over 100 goals at the highest level, and he's not slowing down. But somewhere out there, the next superstar striker is rising, and we're about to find out who that might be. Stick around as we break down the top names, their strengths, and the challenges they face. And before we dive in, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. Let's get started. First on our list is Benjamin Sesko. The Slovenian striker who has quickly become one of the most talked about young forwards in Europe. Standing at 6'4", Sesko has that same physical presence that instantly reminds fans of Haaland. He's tall, he's strong, and the way he moves doesn't even look real sometimes, like a player built in a video game. What makes him fascinating is not just his size, but the combination of speed and intelligence. He knows how to time his runs, he stretches defenses, and when he gets in behind, defenders panic. If you've watched him at RB Leipzig, you'll notice flashes of brilliance, clever link-up play, powerful headers, and moments where he absolutely bullies center backs. But here's the catch: he's still raw. Some matches, Sesko looks unstoppable, and in others, he disappears for long stretches. That inconsistency is exactly what separates a promising young striker from a world-class one. Remember, Haaland at this age was already scoring hat-tricks in the Champions League. Sesko hasn't reached that level yet, but the potential is undeniable. The key for him is patience. If he avoids the temptation of moving too soon to a super club where he'll sit on the bench and instead keep sharpening his game in Germany, he could grow into one of the most dangerous strikers in world football. And let's be honest, when a tall, lightning-quick striker in the Red Bull system starts scoring goals, the comparisons to Haaland are impossible to avoid. The question is, can Sesko handle that pressure and carve out his own identity? Only time will tell, but right now, he's one of the closest names we've got to a real next Haaland. Next up, let's talk about a name you might not know yet, but one you absolutely should keep an eye on: Sindrewala Egeli. He's another striker coming out of Norway, and that alone makes people curious. After all, what are the chances that one small country suddenly starts producing not one, but two monster goal scorers in the space of just a few years? The hype around Egeli is already building, with many labeling him the next Haaland before he's even broken into the top leagues. And honestly, that's both a blessing and a curse. On the one hand, Egeli has the raw tools you'd expect from someone being compared to Haaland. He's got the physical frame, he's strong on the ball, and at youth levels, he's been scoring goals for fun. He doesn't just tap them in either. He can strike from distance, he's got the composure in one-on-one situations, and he reads the game with maturity beyond his years. Those are qualities you can't really teach, and that's why scouts across Europe are already paying attention. But here's where it gets tricky. When every article, every tweet, every conversation starts with the next Haaland, you set a teenager up with massive pressure. Imagine being 16 or 17 and constantly hearing your name compared to one of the most lethal strikers in world football. That kind of weight can crush even the most talented players. We've seen it before with young stars who burn out because the expectations arrive too soon. For Egeli, the real test won't just be his talent, it will be patience. If he develops at the right pace, takes steady steps into professional football, and avoids rushing into the spotlight, Egeli could surprise the world. He's got the ability to explode in the next few years, but only if he's given time to grow without being smothered by hype. Right now, he's a name to watch, and in a few seasons we might be talking about him as the brightest young striker in Europe. Now let's switch gears and talk about a striker who isn't just next, but very much now: Victor Osimhen. At Napoli, Osimhen has already shown that he's one of the most dangerous forwards in world football. He's not a hidden gem or a teenage prodigy still finding his way. He's a fully established star, leading the line for his club and dragging them to glory with his goals. In fact, his performances helped Napoli win their first Serie A title in more than 3 decades, something that immediately stamped his name into football history. So what makes Osimhen so special? First, it's the intensity. When he plays, he's relentless. He presses defenders, chases lost causes, and fights for every ball like it's the last minute of a final. Add to that his lightning pace and fearless finishing, and you've got a striker who can score in just about every way: headers, volleys, tap-ins, you name it. He's also a natural leader, the kind of player who lifts teammates with his energy. Of course, no player is perfect. With Osimhen, the big question has always been injuries. He's had his fair share of setbacks, and staying fit will determine how long he can remain at the very top. But when he's healthy, he's a nightmare for any defense in Europe. Some argue he's not the next Haaland at all, he's already here, fighting on the same level, a direct rival rather than a successor. And honestly, that might be the more accurate way to see it. If Osimhen can keep improving, avoid injuries, and maybe secure a big move to the Premier League or another top club, we might look back and say he wasn't chasing Haaland, he was standing right beside him in the conversation as one of the most complete strikers of his generation. At number 4, we've got Alexander Isak. The Swedish striker who's been turning heads at Newcastle United. Now, Isak is interesting because he's not a carbon copy of Haaland at all. In fact, his style is almost the opposite. Where Haaland is all raw power, direct runs, and ruthless finishing, Isak brings elegance, flair, and a touch of artistry to the striker role. Watching him glide past defenders with his long stride feels more like watching a winger than a traditional number 9. But make no mistake, this guy knows how to score goals. Isak first broke through in Spain with Real Sociedad, where he showed flashes of brilliance. But it wasn't until his move to the Premier League that the world really started to take notice. At Newcastle, when he's fit, he completely changes their attack. His technical ability, quick feet, and composure in front of goal make him a nightmare for defenders. And he's versatile too. He can drop deep to link play, drift wide, or play as the central target man. That flexibility makes him incredibly valuable in modern football. But here's the challenge: injuries. Isak has had multiple spells on the sidelines, and that's been the biggest roadblock in his career so far. Consistency and fitness are what separate good players from great ones. And if he can stay healthy for a few seasons in a row, there's no doubt he has the talent to be one of the top strikers in the world. He may never be labeled the next Haaland because their styles are so different, but Isak has the potential to stand alongside him as one of Europe's most feared forwards. Imagine Haaland and Isak both firing at full power. Norway and Sweden would be producing two very different but equally deadly goal machines. Finally, at number 5, we've got Viktor Gyökeres. The Swedish striker who has been on an absolute tear with Sporting CP in Portugal. If you haven't been following his rise, you might be surprised to hear just how quickly his reputation has exploded. At Sporting, he's been scoring goals for fun, racking up numbers that instantly put him on the radar of Europe's biggest clubs. And the thing about Gyökeres is that he's not just a goal poacher waiting in the box, he's an all-action striker who works tirelessly for the team. Standing strong, fast, and with a relentless attitude, Gyökeres is the type of forward defenders hate to face. He presses high, chases every ball, and forces mistakes, which often lead directly to chances. His finishing has improved massively in the last 2 seasons, and you can see the confidence growing every time he steps onto the pitch. He's got that hunger in his game, the same hunger that makes players like Haaland so dangerous, the refusal to ever switch off in the final third. But of course, the big test for Gyökeres will be whether he can translate this form into one of Europe's top 5 leagues. Portugal is a great platform, but moving to the Premier League, La Liga, or Serie A is where reputations are truly made or broken. If he makes that step successfully, there's every chance we'll be talking about him in the same breath as the best strikers in Europe. He might not be the flashiest name on this list, but Gyökeres has something every great forward needs: consistency, determination, and the ability to step up when it matters. If he keeps going at this pace, don't be surprised if in a couple of years he's one of the players most seriously compared to Haaland. And that's our list of 5 strikers who could be the next Erling Haaland. Some are already stars, others are just starting their journey, but all of them have the potential to shake up world football. Now, I want to hear from you. Who's your pick for Haaland's true successor? Drop it in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more football breakdowns, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.